Oh, there we go.
Yay.
Yay. Very
Beautiful.
good. And welcome to Sue and Christine, and there's Jean and Susan, Connie. It's wonderful. Nice to
Trying to
see
get
you.
it.
Fiddling with my light a little bit. There'll be a little bit of shadows, but I think my hands will be okay for you to see tonight.
Hello, everyone.
Hello and welcome.
I'm excited.
I'm glad everybody's here. You'll need some paper snips, some little scissors tonight, and some adhesives, and then your goodie bag, your paper bag full of project pieces.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to start tonight with the card. There, you'll have, it might be a different color than mine, but it's going to be this layout. It will have a gray punched circle, and it will have some black baker's twine and a crumb cake layer, and then some kind of fun animals. This one you'll see has giraffes and kangaroos, and there's a little koala tucked into the kangaroo pocket, some chameleons. There's all a variety of papers and colors, but this is the one we'll start with first. Oh, good, I see yours, Carol. Yep, so you can pull all those goodies out of the envelope. Just set the envelope aside for a minute. Okay. And so what we'll do first is put together the front of the card base. So you'll notice this is kind of unusual. I've scored the line here for you, scored a crease. You're going to fold on that crease. And again, if you have your bone folder handy, you can use that, or you can use the edge of a marker. You can use a back of a spoon to help make a good crease. And then you'll see that this piece, we're going to put it inside, but we want to have it be kind of framed. If you open up that little flap, you'll see there's a frame of color all the way around the paper. Like I can put that to the back for a minute and you can see. So when we put our adhesive on here, we just have to do it strategically so that the card will open. Let me show you an example of one that's put together so you can see. Here's one.
Missy,
yeah,
we see your face and not your hand.
Oh, okay. Let's get the right part spotlighted here. I'm going to pin. If I pin this one, can you see that one? Or do I think we might need
Two different screens. Your face and then your hands. Just two different
screens. You see my
screens.
hands now, or does it keep going back to my face?
Back to your face when you talk.
Okay. Is Julia still on here, or did she have to go out? Because she was the host. There she is. Julia's here. So Julia can spotlight my hands.
That's it.
I think I got it working.
Yep. We got it now.
Now my
Okay.
hands are here. Terrific. Okay. So so here's one that's completed, and you'll see how this decorative piece of paper, the animal piece, is the front. Okay. So it's just kind of an interesting fold because we didn't start with
I got my water thing.
big piece of cardstock. We started with a smaller piece. So when we do our adhesive, we have to be strategic. We're going to put a little line of adhesive along the outside left edge of the colored cardstock, and then a little line along the DSP, or designer series paper. If you hear me say DSP, that's alphabet soup for designer series paper. Okay, so I'm going to use my favorite adhesive. This is our Tombow multi-purpose liquid glue. You could use this, or if you have a kind of tape runner or a glue stick. Basically, you just want to have glue along. I'm just getting it started tonight, so sometimes it takes a minute to get that going. I always forget to do that before I go on camera. Let's try another one. We're going to just do a little, goes a long way, remember, with this adhesive. So, oh, it's just being slow to go tonight.
I have tape. Is that good?
Yeah, you can make tape work. Is it a double-sided tape or?
It's craft tape. I just bought it.
All right, well, we'll see. You'll see how it works. If it's a double-sided tape, that'll work really well.
Right.
Oh, friends, there we go. All right, so remember, a little goes a long way. I've got more than I need on here, but I'm going to put a little adhesive there, and then I'm going to put a little bit along the edge of my paper there, my designer series paper.
You open the card, and where the crease is, you're putting glue.
Yes, I'm
Right.
putting glue right over at the left edge. And then a little bit, notice how I've centered my designer series paper. So it's got a frame of color all the way around the outside. And I put just a tiny bit of glue there. So it will
On the-
adhere. And
on
then
the
I'm gonna
back?
fold it over like this.
Oh.
Okay. If you get a little glue, you can kind of wipe that off. And now you'll see it opens like a book, but it just, now you can see both sides of the paper and they're both pretty and colorful. So it's kind of a fun, just a different card fold. I love to try different ways, different engaging folds and different ways to use the supplies. So we've opened it like this.
Mhm.
Okay, now we're going to put our baker's twine that's black. This can wrap around multiple times. I cut it nice and long for us, so it'll go around 2 times here. I'm going to wrap it around and around, and then I'm going to tie a knot or a bow here. Okay, so I wrapped it around 2 times. And some people like to make bows. Some people like to make kind of a nest with baker's twine. Some people don't like to fuss with ribbons or twine, and you can use that for a different project. But I like the way that the black is kind of a bold statement against the cardstock, whether you have the pink or the purple or the red or the green, the black is kind of a pop against that. Okay. Now on the inside of the card, we can put this liner, and this is just because it's nice. This is quite a darker cardstock, and so to have a little bit lighter color on here will be easier when we write our message. But if you don't have the piece that goes on the inside, that's okay, because you could always add another piece of paper. Sometimes what people do when they're sending cards is write their little note on a Post-it note, and that way their friend can reuse the card and send off that smile to a friend. So that's kind of an idea if something you make you want to share, and then you think the recipient would like to use the card too.
I'm a little behind, making the knot on this one.
Okay. So if you're working along with me tonight, remember, sometimes I go a little speedy. I'm not trying to race or rush you. I just want to have time to share all our projects. So this will be recorded for you, and you'll be able to see it on the Facebook channel. And so you can refer back if there's steps that you kind of miss or that I go too quickly. This medallion piece now we can place wherever we want on the card. It kind of depends on what animals you have. Some of them have like larger animals, some have smaller ones. This example has some pretty little birds. And so on my card here, I think my favorite part is the sloth. So I don't want to cover that up. I'm going to put my medallion in a different place so that it doesn't cover up the sloth, okay? The greeting I'm going to use tonight is from the stamp set In Your Words. And this is a fun one that's available from Stampin' Up! Now during Celebration, which goes till the end of September. And it just has some really fun and unique greetings. This one says, "Hope this card makes you smile," because these animals are friendly, smiling animals, and the bright colors I hope will brighten someone's day. So we hope this card makes you smile. Now,
You have to have a.
if you don't have a stamp, you can handwrite a message here. You can punch out something from a magazine or cut out. We'll do some fussy cutting in a little bit with our penguin paper. So I'll show you how to do that if you have images from a magazine or a catalog that you wanted to cut out. You can handwrite a message on here. This card actually would be sweet even without a greeting on the front, just as a blank note card. So I know that we all have different levels and different levels of supplies in our home. So use what you've got. If you have dimensionals, these are a little foam sticker, and you'll notice I use these a lot on my projects because I love how they pop up the layer, and it has this little, creates kind of a shadow and interest in the card. So that's a really fun, simple one that we started off with tonight. I'd love to know what you write for your message. On some of the other samples, I have wild about you, because these are wild animals, right? That's a fun greeting. or thank you big time. If you have some of these animals that are large, that's sort of a fun greeting too. But like I said, you could also just keep that as a blank card, or write the person's name, or make a monogram card. People love when they receive something that's personalized. So when I get something that has an M for Melissa or for Missy, that makes me really happy, or for Mom. So I love monograms. Okay, that's our first one. We'll set that aside. I'll just
What do
put
we
it here.
do?
Any
That's in the
questions so far?
yes. What's the skull paper for? What's in the envelope?
Let's see, let me get so I can see you for a second. Let me go to gallery view and you can hold it up. Oh, okay, so that's you have yellow to go inside of yours, Carol. Depending on what color your outside was, you have an inside layer. So on yours, it's yellow. Just to add more color, I picked colors that would complement the paper that you have for the cover.
So we glue this inside.
Yes. And that just is going to add more engagement, more interest because of the different colors.
I can't open mine because I did the twine wrong.
No mistakes in stamping, only opportunities for layering and embellishing. So you can make your cards any way you like with the sample pieces that I include. And I love variations. That's what makes it so much fun. If we wanted them to be the same, we could buy them at the store. But this is much more fun. And especially when I can see you here, your smiles and your participation is really fun. So for the next project, you have one of two different cards. Yours is either going to be kind of a sunset printed design or a wreath design. This is called a note card size. They're a little bit smaller. Okay, can you see those okay? You'll have one or the other. Yep, terrific. Julia has the wreath. Let's start with the wreath one. If you have the other one, just sit tight and you can follow along and see how you might want to work on your project. So again, these are really pretty envelopes already printed for you. They have this crushed curry flap with the white pattern, which I love, and perfect for fall. These remind me of those, are they called dollars, paper dollars or something? Do you know what I mean? They're like a plant that dries and they're rounded. Does that sound right to anybody?
I call them a money tree.
Money tree. Okay, so yes, and they're very flat and they dry, right?
Yeah.
So that's what it makes me think of. But here's the wreath design. This is pretty, just like it is, isn't it? But we're going to dress it up a little bit with some layers because I love the layers, the textures that we're going to add to this. Now, you have a little bow in here. I think I tied everybody's bow. Do you have it ready? Oh, okay, very good. So I did a little shortcut for you tonight. Great, Carol, you've got the one with the sunset. So we're going to do that one next, okay? You have one or the other of these. They're complementary. So we'll start with the wreath. Now you'll see I'm going to build it up. I've got all these little pieces of leaves and whoop, my light. There we go. My light might fade again. We'll see. And if you have trouble with shadows or if I go off screen, just try to flag me down. I'll try to keep it centered for you.
I have this, but it's not a wreath.
Nope, you don't have a wreath. You either have this one or this one. So just sit tight. Watch me do this one, then we'll do the sunset one, and then we'll go on to the other things in your kit. Okay, sometimes I don't have enough all the same, so you get one that's similar.
Okay.
So to build this up, before I glue anything, I kind of want to lay it out, just sort of play around with what I've got. I have a ribbon here, and you'll notice you have two different labels. They're different sizes, okay? Now, depending on what greeting you want to use, you're going to use either piece or both, and they also are white on the other side, so you have options, right? It's always great to have options. Now for this one, I'm choosing a stamp set called Feels Like Home. And I love that the verse that says, your friendship feels like home to me. Because the wreath to me kind of makes me think of the front door, right? When you go to somebody's house and they have a pretty wreath, and that's very welcoming. So I'm going to use this image that says, your friendship feels like home to me. So I'm going to fit that on the larger one, but you'll see it's a little bit small for that big of a greeting. So I'm going to put it off to the side a little bit. You'll see how I'm going to do this. We're going to use the Memento ink again. So your friendship feels like home. I'm going to stamp over to the side a little bit because remember I have all these layers of little leaves and ribbon. So I can kind of offset my greeting and then be able to put my flowers, something like this. Let me hold it up for you to see. Something like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Okay.
Like it.
So isn't that fun? And then don't forget we have some bling we're going to add at the end, and they just make cards sing when you add that sparkle. So let's go ahead. We're going to put the label on first. Now again, if you have stamps, you can stamp a greeting. But if you don't have stamps in your collection yet, then you can write a little verse or use it as, again, a monogram card. Use someone's name, personalize it. Cut something out from a magazine. Did you ever growing up make those? It's not really a ransom note, but like cut out words and letters to spell things and make a funny note.
Yep.
I used to do that too. Okay, so there's my greeting. And then I'm going to just tuck in some of these, use my glue and just tuck in. Sorry, my glue is being so funny tonight. Let me make sure I've got it stored upside down. A good tip is to put your glue in some kind of jar so that it stays with the tip ready to go. This kind of glue has two ends. It also has an end that's kind of like the old-fashioned rubber cement end. And I love that if I really need to smooth out the glue, but 90% of the time I use the tip, the finer tip. So let's see if I can get it to cooperate tonight. All right. So I'm just going to sprinkle these. Some are going to go on top of the label. Some will go down underneath the label. There's no real rules. I'm just creating a collage. So there's some texture and a little bit of dimension on here. This one I'm going to turn upside down so it's white. It's going to have a greater contrast. Put that in there. Okay. And then when I put my ribbon here, see, it worked out to have my greeting kind of over to the side like that. Okay. So for the ribbon, I'm going to use a dimensional actually. You can use glue dots or a spot of glue. I'm going to go ahead and put the dimensional right there. It's going to be kind of hidden by the ribbon. And then our little gems tonight, little sequins, they already have the adhesive on them. So if you're adept with your fingernails, you can peel it off and stick it where you want it on your card. You can also take your paper snips or a pair of scissors and kind of clip it up like that, pick it up like that. And we're going to do the rule of 3 here. So we have to kind of move your eye around the card if you put them in sort of a triangular shape. Your friendship feels like home to me. So there's that pretty card. I'll leave it here. So if you keep working on that one while I go ahead to the sunset version, okay? So I know some of you have this card design. And this one makes, again, we've got that really pretty envelope with the money tree dried flower there. We've got labels again, 2 different sizes. So this gives you versatility. On this one, I'm going to show you a trick for a thin greeting, a longer greeting, okay? But first I'm going to lay things out. I have this pretty tree that's going to put that kind of front and center. I'm not going to glue yet though, remember. It's good to kind of lay things out before you put your adhesive so you have a chance to kind of change your mind if you want to. Now these vellum pieces are printed on one side. So the one side is going to be a little bit more opaque, not really opaque. Let's see. Well, it seems to be a little more opaque because the printing is on the back side of the vellum if I have it like this. This one, it's a more vibrant print. And I personally like that. I like where the printing is facing up, but again, you can change it around. So I can put these behind the branches, and doesn't it look now like my tree is full of colorful leaves?
That's pretty.
Isn't that fun? So I've just layered that up.
It does. It really does.
Yeah. And so I'm going to take my small piece And another greeting that, let's see, where is that one? I want to find the one. Okay, hold on one second so I can get the greeting I'm looking for. Yes, it says, I can't thank you enough. This is also from the Feels Like Home stamp set. And you'll notice though, it's too long to fit on the whole thing. Part of it would hang off the edge. And I just wanted to say, thank you. So I'm going to teach you a trick called omitting, where we're just going to paint just the part of the stamp that we want. So right now it says, I can't thank you enough, but I only want it to say thank you. So I'm going to take a marker. This is a water-based marker. You can use any water-based marker because you want it, if you use like a Sharpie, it won't transfer to your paper. You want it to be water-based. And I'm just going to paint the words, thank you. It's a little tricky to see where the words stop and start. So I'm going to hold it up. Thank you. Okay, so it says, I can't thank you enough, but in this instance, I just want it to say thank you. So I'm painting that on there. You see the ink is only on the words thank you. And then I will stamp it here. Again, I'm going to do it off to the side. Well, this one I'm going to do more in the center. Thank you. Okay, so now my greeting just says thank you. And I can add that now to the tree. So I'm thinking I'm going to put the greeting down sort of lower and have the tree more centered on the card, okay? So because I want the tree to be on top more, I'm going to glue these guys down first. And I'm just sort of positioning them so that they'll be lots and lots of color behind the branches. With vellum, you'll notice that adhesive can show through because the vellum is a transparent paper. So what I like to do is put my glue just underneath where there's colorful parts. It's going to show less behind the green and the red, whereas if I do it on the clear part, it will show. Now, the glue pretty much dries clear anyway, and it doesn't offend me if I have glue showing, but I want to just give you as many tips as I can. And when you use vellum, you do kind of want to hide the adhesive. There we are. So we're just, okay. Any questions so far? I know some of you don't have this kit because you've made the other one, but if you have questions, just let me know. I just added to the trunk. I don't really need a lot on the branches. This card, I'll be careful when I put it in the envelope, and then the recipient, when they take it out, it's okay if this is a little bit floppy. If you want to anchor it a little bit more, you can. And now we'll place it here. Isn't that fun how the colors behind it really jump? Okay. And the vellum has a little bit of a sheen to it. So it's got a little bit of a shine. Okay, here's my thank you. And I'm going to use dimensionals to pop that up. I like to do 3 across and position that here. Just a sweet little thank you for fall. And we've got our bling. So we can I'm going to work with this other sheet. Question?
But then you said that.
So I'm going to take my sparklies. I think I'm going to add them right into where some of the leaves are. And I'm going to have more than 3 on this. This looks like it should be kind of a sparkle tree. If you have trouble getting the glue dot off, then try little tweezers, or sometimes when you take off the sequin, the glue part kind of stays behind. So there's plenty. I gave you a bunch of them. You've got plenty to play with, even if you lose a couple to the adhesive. And then I think I'll put one on each side of the greeting here, because the thank you is a little bit short for this length of a greeting piece. So if you want to share what you wrote, if you stamped something, or if you're writing a message here and you want to share it, let me know what you're putting on your labels. That's fun to hear. So save your little gold glimmer for our next project, okay? We're going to use that on the next card too. And I'll set these over here, so we'll have them to show at the end. Now you'll probably have some extra labels. So if you're one suggestion I have is you kind of keep a shoebox, or sometimes people put it in like a mug or something like that, that they can kind of just keep odd bits and pieces. Sometimes all you need is just a little banner to put a word on, right? Or a little scrap of ribbon. So a shoebox or a bowl, something that you can kind of rustle about, is a great way to keep track of some of those scrap pieces. Okay, the next project will look familiar to some of you. When we first started our Zoom times last year, last October, I think was our first one, we used a similar kit to this that had these colors, and I love the gold inside the envelope. So some of you might remember that. Hopefully you send it away to a friend. And the paper is printed with the gold dots on there. This is a really pretty terracotta tile color. Okay. Now we have some more vellum, and you can punch these out. So everybody should have this card in their kit. Everybody has the same supplies for this one. And I'm going to punch out the little vellum branches and leaves. Okay. And I have a bird here, a happy little bird. And then a label that has the stitched edge. This just adds really nice visual interest. You'll see that. And you can position it horizontally or vertically on your card, depending on what kind of greeting you want to include. Now, I want to show you two different things you can do with your baker's twine for this card. You can make kind of a nest for the bird if you want. And what I do is just wrap around my 4 fingers. I wrap the baker's twine into a circle. So it's kind of a nest looking. I want it to be a little bit messy. And that could be a little nest for the bird. So that's one idea. Another idea, I'll show you both and then you can decide, is to take and do just like we did with our first animal card, where you wrap it around the card, the front of the card, 1, 2 times, and then tie a bow. So it's up to you. If you liked that look with the baker's twine vertically on the card and you like to make a bow, then that's a good one for you. So it would look something like this along the side. Okay. Or you can make the nest. And I'll leave it up to you to decide what you choose. I'm going to make the nest this time. Okay. So I'm spreading out my fingers a little bit, going to have my bird here in the nest. And I've got all of these little, remember, I'm not gluing anything yet, right, friends? I'm going to first just experiment, because you might get started and then realize you have a different idea for how you want your pieces to come together. So we've got lots of branches here, maybe more than I need. And then I have my greeting. And so I can put my greeting anywhere I want on the card. Oh, Julia, that looks great. Beautiful.
I was playing around trying to figure out where to put things. And
that's what's fun, isn't it? To kind of, because you all start with similar supplies and then you can make things horizontal, vertical, portrait, or landscape, we say. This card could also be a landscape card instead of portrait. You could put it in this direction.
What I like is how 3-dimensional it is.
Yes. Yeah, lots of texture tonight, a lot of little pieces and layers. That's fun. So for my bird one, I think I like it landscape like this, but I'm going to tuck him over to this side so that my my bird is looking into the card. Do you see how he's looking in instead of away? So he's going to look at what my greeting is. And remember, you don't have to commit tonight to how you want your card to look. It's okay just to kind of watch and enjoy and ask questions and keep your supplies together. And then you can always refer back to the video to see the ideas that I shared. And so just enjoy. Don't feel any stress or pressure to have things completed tonight. All right. And if you have questions, let me know. But I'm pretty happy with the way this layout looks. So I'm going to go ahead and start to glue things down. And I have to start with what's on the bottom, right? So I'm going to put a little bit of glue. Again, the vellum, a little of the adhesive will kind of show through. It'll mostly dry clear. And if you put it behind the color for part of the vellum, it will show less. There we are. So I got to see Jean in person for a minute yesterday on the first day of school as her grandchildren were off to school, and my son Billy, his first day at Baker High, and he gave a great review, a great first day and a good second day too. So that's very
Yeah.
good. Hope everybody's off to a great start. Now, here's a trick with baker's twine. You know, how do we adhere this? Well, I know that my bird is going to be sitting in the nest kind of like this, right? And then I know my label, my greeting, sentiment greeting is going to be over here. So these are some places I can anchor this using the dimensionals. I can set it here like this, and then I'm going to put a bunch of dimensionals on the bird. Let's see if I can, yeah, find the dimensionals. And they actually are going to act kind of as an anchor to hold the baker's twine nest in place for me. So I'm going to be pretty generous with those little dimensionals.
Glue the bird nest already?
What was your question?
Glued the bird's nest on the card?
Yeah, I actually just right now just laid the nest down. I haven't secured it yet with glue, because when I put the bird on there, that's going to lock it down, kind of anchor it down. You can also put glue just on the card and push your baker's twine down too. A lot of times with card making like this, there aren't really hard and fast laws or rules. You kind of just play. And that's something I love most about stamping and paper crafting, is just having fun fiddling around. So I'm going to move my twine out a little bit here. So part of it shows on this side like that. And some adhesives are super permanent and they don't give you a lot of wiggle room, but thankfully the Tombow glue and the dimensionals, if I was really unhappy, I can peel it up and put it back down. Now, the other thing is to remember is that it's just paper and ink when we play. So these, when we get together, it's kind of learning techniques and learning layout ideas and color combinations. And so not every card you make is going to be your most favorite card, but I can guarantee that whoever receives the card from you will be grateful. Whether the bird is crooked or the greeting was smeared, people love to receive mail when it's not a bill, right? And something that you've made with love is always well received. So there's my bird there, and I'm going to think about what I'd like for my greeting, okay? I have, let's see, I pulled out a few different things to show you. This one is called Amaryllis Abloom, and it's designed for holidays, but I think the greetings can be for any time of year. Wishing you a beautiful season. Doesn't have to be a holiday season. It can be the fall season or a season that someone is experiencing in their life. We have sending lots of love, happiest of days to you, and so proud of you. Now, the happiest of days to you is nice. It can be for birthday, anniversary, or really I'm just thinking of you day, wishing you a happy day. So we're going to do happiest of days to you. And this is a stamp set called Photopolymer. So this is my clear stamps. And they make it great to, when you put your, ink up your stamp and you can see where your placement is much easier. So I really enjoyed the photopolymer stamp. And I'm going to go ahead and use, oh, actually, let me think if I had my other, yeah, I want to show this one too. Okay, I have another greeting I really want to incorporate for you, but it's going to be a little tight on that. So I can put it on the inside. All right. I'm just changing my mind a moment because I'd forgotten I had this special greeting for you. Okay, so we'll put happiest of days to you on this outside part. Okay. And then on the inside, I have a special greeting that says, "The changing of leaves reminds us that new wonders are just around the corner." Isn't that a great
Wow.
one for somebody and experiencing a change or the change of seasons? So that would work nicely in a card like this as well, a fall card, or this happiest of days to you card.
Yeah.
I think it's still appropriate inside here too. So we'll stamp that on the inside of the card. This is from a stamp set called Beauty of Tomorrow. And another great greeting here is, "Some people are just likable." And then on the inside, you can put, "You're one of those people." This is how I feel about Julia.
Yeah, that's
Some
a cool
people are
stamp
just likable. You are one of those people. Thank you, Julia. So this is a beautiful greeting, especially for fall, because that's when the leaves change in the Northern Hemisphere. So I'm going to put that right in the middle of the card. Sometimes it's great to have a big greeting or a big sentiment when you really just want to send a love you card and you don't need to have a whole lot of space to write a long letter. It's fun to put a bigger sentiment inside. Now, remember, we have those little gold sequins, and they will complement this card nicely because of the gold that's printed on the card already. And also because my greeting was a little bit small for this label, right? And that's a fun challenge when you just kind of work with the stamps that you have. Julia and I are putting our heads together for some special kits that we can offer in the fall. And we've learned that there is a supply of stamps at the library that can be shared out and kind of loaned out. So so be watching for some opportunities like that where you can practice and try out some stamps in your crafting. There we are. So I'm just going to add those pretty blings on there. Happiest of days to you. And my
I like
little
the
bird is
bird.
kind of in a nest. So you might have made yours portrait or landscape. You can fool around with your label. You have the other two labels left from the other card. Those would work on here too. And so lots of options. All right, so I'm going to put the cards, before we move on to our final project, the penguin box, I'm just going to lay out the cards that we've made so you can have a look at that. And if there's anything you wanted to ask me questions about those, I can answer questions. And then we'll go ahead and work on our penguin project.
Can you show me the inside again of that quote
Sure.
about the leaves?
Yes, I love this greeting.
Okay.
It says, can you see it okay?
Yes.
The changing of leaves reminds us that new wonders are just around the corner.
Okay, I couldn't remember his new wonders.
New
Okay.
wonders.
Yeah, it's cool. I like the way it's written.
Yeah, it's a great font, isn't it? That's a fun
Yeah.
stamp set, Beauty of Tomorrow. I'll use this one again with us because it has also some really beautiful paper.
Yeah, I like
It's
that stamp set.
Blackberry Bliss, and some with the bird, and it's really lovely. So for our next one, I'll use some of the pretty paper that goes with this. I think you'd all enjoy it. It has some of the gold and coppery tones. Oh, that looks wonderful, Jean. Very nice. Very nice. And
I like that.
and it's fun when stamp sets have sentiments and images. It gives you a lot of versatility. Oh, Carol, good work. I love your nest. That looks great. And it's fun
My
that they do
blings.
have a lot of dimension tonight, Julia. You're right. Christine, that's beautiful. Yeah, great.
What are these other square things from? Are they from one of the other cards that I didn't use?
Yeah, are they little like tan on one side and white on the other side? Yep.
One's
Those are labels. You can see I use different sizes on these two cards. So depending on what words you want to use, you can use a different size greeting. And when you have leftovers, you could put them on the inside of your card, or you could put them on your envelope. Oh, that looks lovely, Carol. Isn't the tree fun on that sunset background? I love it.
Yeah, that's cool. I like
Oh,
that.
cool, Julia. I like how you're using them with the different paper. That looks great.
Yeah, I didn't like the way they looked on that other card, so I decided to put them on something else.
Very good. Yeah. It's fun to have the pieces in parts. I'm glad.
Cool. Like
All right. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll wrap up tonight with our final project, which is kind of a, it came like this in your bag. If you took it out carefully, it has a whole bunch of pieces inside. So if you don't have these pieces, these little penguins and foxes and stuff, then go back into your paper bag, white paper bag, and fish them out. But they go along with this box, okay? And I'll be sure to post this template for you on my Facebook page, Missy's Glad Heart Studio. So you can go there and see how to recreate this box. I have all the measurements for you. It's very easy to do. But for you, because I love you all, I have it already scored and cut for you to put together, okay? So to fit it in your bag, I did a little bit of scoring or folding already. We need to fold on these other lines too. So you're going to take your white piece of cardstock and then fold on all of those score lines that I made. There's going to be several of them because what we're creating is a box with a lid all in one connected piece. And so then there are several flap parts that fold in and up. And I just find when I'm ready to put my adhesive on and assemble the box, if I've already done some nice creasing on these score parts, then I have the best luck. Okay. Okay.
In this case, we just have to bend them one way. You don't have to bend them both ways.
Exactly. They're all going into the center.
Okay.
They're not going flip and flop. Yeah, it's no mountain and valley that we have to be playing around with tonight. Okay. Now I'm going to show you one that's completed just so you can see a little bit how I'm going to glue. Okay, so let me find that. It's under my Toy Story bag, I think, over here. Yep. Okay, this one's a little bit different on my cover, but you'll see how the box construction comes together. We have the lid here that has the hinge, and then this bottom part is the box all the way around. So we're creating that bottom and then the flip top that's with a hinge. Okay. Now, if you have strong adhesive like a tape runner, or we Stampin' Up, we have Fast Fuse, or we have Seal Plus, or tear and tape, that's the kind of adhesive you want to have that's going to be strong because it's a 3D object. My favorite always, again, is this multi-purpose liquid glue because it will make a firm, strong bond, but it does take a minute to set. What that means is the, for the paper, the glue to bond the paper, you kind of have to give it a little bit of pressure. So we're going to start by making the bottom of the box. You can kind of fold, if you fold the lid out of the way, see how that top part I'm folding away.
Does it matter which side is the lid and which side is the
No, they're
base?
the same. They're the
Okay.
same now. So you just mentally pick one that's going to be your lid and kind of have that away. And then the other parts are going to fold up to make the bottom. Now the place to put the adhesive is, let me show you. If you fold in these 4 squares, can you see 1, 2, 3? I know it's hard white on the camera, but I have 4 squares. I'm folding those guys in, and I'm going to put adhesive on those while they're folded inside.
Okay.
Everybody got that? So the 4 squares are in, and we're going to put some glue on each of those pieces. And if you have tape, you can put the tape in there. I'm going to put my squiggles of my liquid glue in there. Okay. And then what we're going to do is just one side at a time, we're going to fold them in. So we have the these rectangle pieces fold up and meet the squares. Does that make sense? And because this is liquid glue, I have to just hold it for a minute, give it a little time. If you have clothespins, you can use clothespins to kind of hold it for a minute and then set it, go do the dishes and then come back when it's dry. But I'm just going to use my finger and thumb and just add some pressure here. So this is the bottom of my box now, all the way around.
It gives those of us who are a little slower time.
Yep,
to
I'll
catch
take
up.
time. There's no rush. Just want to so you've got all the four corners, those four squares, the rectangle parts folded up to meet them. Great,
Okay.
Carol, that looks right. You've got your bottom, and then the top, you notice you only have two squares here. So you're gonna fold your squares in and put your adhesive when they're folded in like that. And the reason we do it when they're folded in is that way the tabs are on the inside of the box, and that all the way around the outside is just a straight, even piece.
Okay, I think I get it.
Okay, so we've got the bottom and then that hinge piece, but I'll give you a moment to catch up. Just remember, you're putting adhesive just on the little squares. Great, Carol. Yeah, so the lid, this reminds me of like a box of fudge, right? Candy box. I love it.
Yep.
You
That's
could
a
put
nice
all kinds of
box.
goodies in here. You could put Stampin' supplies in here, some ink pads and some adhesive, clear block, maybe you'll go in here too. You could have this be a little box to put your scraps in when you have extra labels and pieces and parts. But I like the fudge idea. Yeah, okay. Or saltwater taffy, I think would be fun too. Do you like saltwater taffy? It's still summer. We can still enjoy the saltwater taffy while we have summertime. What are some of your summertime treats you're trying to grab and enjoy on these last weeks of summer?
Oh, geez, I don't know. I
Ice
haven't had
cream.
very much watermelon this year.
We had some really good watermelon early, and then we had one that wasn't so good. And I know, yay, Julia.
Yeah,
And I know it can happen, the watermelon, you just can kind of get one that's good or
Yeah.
not. We had some really
Hit-
good stuff
hit or miss.
early in the season. Sweet corn, we love sweet corn in our house. Almost every night we have corn on the cob. It's so great.
Apple,
Say it again.
apples.
Apples, yes, yes, yes. Who likes to make apple pie or apple crisp? Yeah, great.
Apple Brown Betty.
What did you say, Christine? You're muted.
Apple
sweet. Unmute yourself so I can hear you. Do you know how to unmute?
Go on the bottom of the screen and click on it.
Click on that little speaker,
Looks like a
like a
microphone.
little microphone down in the bottom. There you go. Oh.
If it's an iPad, you tap the screen and then the little microphone appears.
Yes. This tape
It's
is
at the
wonderful.
top.
This thrift is,
Almost. We'll wait for it. We'll keep going, but chime in if you can. You're gonna look for the little microphone icon where it says
On the-
mute or unmute. And but yeah, apple crisp, apple pie, just apples sliced up with peanut butter on them. Yum.
Oh, yes.
Yummy.
or honey.
Okay, so we have
Homemade
a
apple
beautiful white
sauce.
box ready to fill, but let's decorate it. What in your kit, you've got some pieces of cards of designer series paper. You have a large piece for the cover,
Okay.
2 strips for the long edges, and 2 strips for the short. Now, there are 4 different pieces here. So I knew we could have lots of different designs, but it's even more than 4 because each piece is double-sided. So you can pick the pieces that you like the best, and you'll glue them onto your box.
So you,
So, and then this piece will be on the cover, the rectangle one. Again, you can pick, if you want it to have a lot of the friends showing, you can, or it can be the more patterned side.
put it on the box. Looks like
Christine, I
Christmas.
think if you want, you could also add your response in the chat. If you see in the toolbar, there might be the word chat, and then you could type in your response if you want to try that. So I'm going to go ahead and keep gluing on. I've got some trees. I'm going to put them on my box here. And the smaller pieces along the side.
I seem to be missing one of the side pieces.
Okay, there should be, it's possible human error that I did it wrong, but there should be 2 long and 2 short.
I think they were just dropped on the floor somewhere.
Oh, okay. There we are. I love the blue and the white diagonal stripes. I think that's really fun
It's pretty,
and seasonal.
Wait,
pretty paper.
Isn't it fun? These colors are lovely.
Hmm.
Yeah. So there I have all my 4 rectangle pieces. And let's see, where's the opening here? Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to show you, I have a heart punch. You could use a circle punch, or if you don't have a punch, you don't have to do this, or you could cut it with scissors. But what I'm going to do is just make a little bit of an opening here, like a little semicircle, because that's going to make my box a little easier to open once I put my fudge inside. Okay, because now my
Guess it helps
thumb
you
can
find
go
the front.
here and I can lift it up. See how that works? You could trace a quarter to make that semicircle if you want, and then cut it out. That's a good, quarter is a good size for that.
Mhm.
And again, it's not necessary, but it does just make it easier for the recipient to open the box. Okay, so then the fun part here, I enjoy fussy cutting. I know last month we did some fussy cutting too. And that's where you can design these fun friends to go on the top of your box. There's also a label, a postage stamp label, if you want to have a greeting. So again, you kind of do your planning where you want the friends to be. And I'll show you when I cut, I like to move my paper rather than move my scissors. So you'll watch how I do this. I'm using the scissors in one hand, and then instead of moving the scissors all the way around, I just move that paper. And I find that gives me fine control. I like to leave just a little bit of the edge. In this case, it's kind of that lavender color, or the white edge, whatever's around your little guys. I tend to leave a little bit of the edge. Some people though like to go right up close, and that's just your prerogative, your option. Again, I don't worry too much about perfection here. I'm really going for the joyful, playful spirit of these animals. And so I'm not going to concern myself with precision. But there's the happy penguin with his little beanie hat on. And here's a fox ready to play. And so some people enjoy, I should say, some people enjoy fussy cutting more than other people do. Some people don't enjoy it as much. I like to fussy cut. And so if you have favorite magazines, or even the flyer that comes in the newspaper every weekend, you can find interesting shapes and objects, and have fun kind of creating collages with just scraps when you use this technique of fussy cutting. And I also have my polar bear here with his scarf.
Cutting around his hair is weird.
It is weird, yeah. I'll show you what I do for the top of the polar bear when I get there. I just kind of keep those hairs together,
Yeah.
in one cut. And so I'm moving the paper around and around his ears. And then, yeah, there's sort of 3 little hairs. I kind of wiggle at the top and go around. You could even cut them off if you wanted. I don't want to cut his ears off, but if he had a little haircut, it would be okay.
and he can
Right. And because I have this white design, the guys are kind of in a snowstorm. They don't show up quite as much as if I put them with the green behind. Maybe you could, try it all different ways. Now, some of you also have a little tree. I think I tried to include a tree in most of the kits attached to one of the animals. So if you have a tree, you can also cut that around. I'm kind of moving quickly here. You may want to take a little more time with your cutting, but again, I just am having fun with it. I'm not worried about the precision.
put my wolf on the side, my fox on the side, in no room.
Oh, Carol, look at your happy friends on there. They look great.
Nice.
Gorgeous.
Very fun, right? So you can be thinking what you'll put inside your box and who you will gift it to. There we go. So I'm going to have a tree over here maybe, and then I can put my greeting here, maybe something like that. I like that they look like they're jumping around, or the polar bear almost looks like he's making snow angels, right?
Yeah.
That's really fun. So let's see, what would be a fun greeting for this one of the things I have out today? Let's take a look. I've got, let's see here. This is kind of a fun, You're Amazing. This is from a stamp set that has sheep. It's called Counting Sheep. They're really playful. This is another celebration gift during September. And it has You're Amazing and So Glad It's Your Birthday. So either of those I think would be fun for this kind of happy box, right? Let's try the You're Amazing. And this will give me a chance to show you how I put my stamps together when I'm using the red rubber stamps. So let's do the greeting, You're Amazing. I'm going to pop this out. It's already been die cut by Stampin' Up, but it hasn't been assembled with the sticker yet. So I pop that out. It's red rubber and then a layer of foam inside there too. And then on the label sheet, I can peel off one part. And there's a couple different ways to assemble it, but this to me is the quickest way. Hope you can see it all right. So I peel off just one side of the wax paper, and I peel off the paper from the back of the stamp, and then I'm going to line it up on the side that doesn't have the sticky and then push it down. So now I can peel that off and just peel off that second wax paper, and then it's ready. Okay, so this is called a cling mount stamp because it's very sticky. But it also can peel off. And so it's great for storage. It just it's just a small DVD case instead of our wood blocks like we used to carry. And then I can peel off from the block and put it on the block like this. Now let me quick show you one other way to mount them. And that's a little bit different. I'm going to take the, let's see, I'm going to take the image. Make sure I have it going the right way upside down. So glad it's your birthday. And then I'm going to put the label right onto the clear block. Okay. And now when I peel off the wax paper here, this is the part that's going to go on the stamp. So I can turn it over and line it up like this. So when you have stamps like this, you kind of get a feel, you play around with what method of assembly you like best. But there's You're Amazing. Let's put You're Amazing on here. I'm going to see if I might have room for both. You're Amazing. So glad it's your birthday. No, I'll just do one, I think. How about You're Amazing? And then it can be for any occasion, right? I'll take my ink pad and ink it up. You're Amazing, right in the center of that image or the punched die cut. And then I can pop that up. So maybe put the tree over here. That'll be fun. So I hope it's been fun playing with me tonight. I've enjoyed having you along to craft along together. And if you have any questions, I'll be right here for a minute before we say goodbye. If you have any questions, I'm going to continue putting it together while we finish up. Does anybody have questions or comments tonight? Or you can hold up something you made that you want to show everybody.
Here.
So there's my polar bear. He's kind of hiding in the snowstorm. But I put dimensionals on my penguin. Oh, hooray, Julia. What a clever idea for the polar bear to be really 3D and standing right up by the box. I love it.
Right, because if it's a pattern on this side, then it makes sense to put him on it.
Right.
But if it's got all the other friends
friends
on there, then it makes sense to
Just
have
put the little
him.
box.
Oh, that's a wonderful idea. Oh, I hope you like the boxes. You've done such a nice job, everybody. Put some surprises in there for a friend. Julia, that's a great idea. I'm going to case you. Case means copy and share everything. And that's the ultimate compliment. When someone cases your work, that means copy and share everything. Or it can also mean copy and selectively edit. So you make it your
There you
own.
go.
You do, something similar, and then but you might change it up a little bit.
Right.
So,
It looks to me like he's saying, surprise.
yes, I think so too. Hooray, surprise. Oh, I love it. Very good. Well, Julie and I are working hard to make a plan for what's next, friends, as we transition to things being a little more open, but still also continuing the opportunity for us to gather online. If you had a chance to fill in the survey, we thank you. If you haven't yet, you still can do that. That's helpful feedback as we go forward with what will be the next step with the stamping at the library. And it's my pleasure to partner with Julia. And I'm so grateful that during this year, we were able to provide complimentary kits thanks to funding from Julia and the library. So hooray.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Yes,
You're
thank you
welcome.
very much.
You're welcome.
Where's
I
the
hope
s-
everybody has
Where's the survey?
a wonderful rest of the month. And we'll look forward to stamping with you. Julia, question or comment?
Yes, if anybody didn't get the link for the survey, either call the library or email the library, info@the-library, or Julia S. at the library, Baldwinsville Library. And I'll send you the link. I could post it on the Facebook page too.
Oh, that's a great idea. And we may be able to reach more people that way.
Yeah,
That's a great idea.
I'll do that.
Okay.
Is
Thank
there-
you.
All right, friends. Well, thanks for being with us tonight. We wish you the very best for the coming month and weeks and fall, and enjoy more apples. Good
Thank you very
night,
much.
everybody.
Thank you. It was fun.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.